face off. We're gonna talk your face off.
Loop or what?
We're gonna talk your face off. Talk your face off. To talk your face off. Talk your face off. Talk your face off. Talk your face off.
Yo.
Hey.
Yo. What is up?
That was different. I can't see the back end from the phone. Like I was just staring at myself. I was like, we're gonna go live or what?
Yeah, we were on. It's funny because I could hear you talk through it, but I think we're muted. So it's weird.
Mine's muted. Yeah, it says muted. So.
I heard you like you're gonna roll the loop, and I'm like, wait, it is rolling. What are you talking about? Can't hear it over the nitro busting out going on out there, guys.
I know. And I'm looking at you, and you're frozen. I got your audio, but I don't know. Well, there you go. You're moving now. So
yeah, and I don't know. That keeps happening with you. It could be on my end.
Oh, I bet you it's mine. So I'm out in the middle of the field.
Yeah, at the track.
Yep. So we're at.
And I'm going to be busy reading messages that are coming through as we're going.
Nice.
Because we have. I'm leaving for the event tomorrow, so I just got to make sure I don't miss anything important.
Yeah.
But it's busy. I call it eventful because this month has been full of events and upcoming events and all kinds of stuff going on. New releases. We have to talk about that Losi Pro Moto for sure.
What?
Like, there's no not talking about that.
What is it?
You know, the Pro Moto. You know what I'm talking about. Talking about. So yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the motorcycles could even race the monster truck racing that we do with drag racing style.
Oh yeah,
that'd be
pretty
so
sick.
fun.
Yeah,
it keeps them separated, but I would also think that it'd be cool to have them actually run like the buggy tracks and
dude, the track
hanging and crashing.
Yeah, the track that you're hearing out here, that nitro track. I think they just pulled it in for practice now, but. It would be sick out here, dude. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes. Like I could definitely see that happening out here. The track here has pretty good sweepers. Like nothing like hard. There's only one like 90, but there's enough room.
Yeah.
But it goes in from a 90 to a double or a triple, depending on how if you're doing nitro buggy or whatnot. But yeah, it would be pretty epic out here for sure. So.
We got
very cool.
These Old Flapping Lips, Hood Whiz RC, Racing Case 87, Endos RC, The Hanger, also Crawler Tracks, which I met them at Axialfest. Nice. Make really cool portable 24 scale stuff. The mud pit that they've got coming is sweet. Nice. Portable is so cool. KLN RC Cars, who that guy is, I don't even know. Isaac Ankrum, another nobody. He's saying he's not cool enough. These Old Flapping Lips. What's up, Dana? These Old Flapping Lips said he got the full RTR for the extra 50. I got the full RTR because it was green and black and Kawasaki looking.
I know, right?
If it wouldn't have been, I'd have bought the batteries separate. But the green and I had to. I mean, I was tempted to go with the red Hondas.
Right.
And super popular right now. Those brothers are killing it for Honda.
Yeah.
Those Australians and Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, if anybody watches. But if you get the blue one, I mean, that'd be pretty good too. So
yeah.
I mean, It's tough. I just love the green and black, and it had the red #1 plate on it. So
yeah,
I don't know how Kawasaki worked that out with Losi, but they didn't. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
There's not like all the brandings of everything. So, but yeah,
sure.
It's gonna be really cool when they do bring those out. And I got to see one in person at Axialfest, and it's amazing. It's so heavy, and big.
It looks very like it looks very scale model. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that too.
We watched it on the TV, and the heads were glitching when it was doing it, so it made it look really weird.
Yeah,
because they would do the whole like cut, like the pixelation or whatever was actually the frame rate wasn't keeping up on the TV or whatever, and it was doing this weird
sure.
glitch. But man, the motorcycle looked sick,
Yeah,
and I immediately ordered one.
that's awesome.
And my wife's like, "You better not be." I'm like, "Well,
See what happened was.
you're gonna have to talk to my friend Greg about that. He showed it to me.
I know.
Couldn't at that point not."
That's funny.
Yeah.
I just saw the comment from Kalen said I look like a full-on motocross spotter right now. Maybe. At the
Your
dirt
view
track.
changed because you used to have like the pine trees, like two of them, like right in your glasses there.
Oh yeah, I'm a couple spots to the left now, so I'm more
Okay.
facing the dirt track. I'm a little farther away. I'm anxious to see how. So we've been treating it like practice, right? And we were on a good run, and then he got sick, and we missed a week, right? So we missed a week of practice, and then the rains came, and we missed a whole week of running because of the rain. So we were out for like 2 weeks. We didn't get a chance to get out there, and then now we went out on Saturday morning. We got up really early. We came out and burned some laps, and he was ripping, man. I was like, "How are you ripping so good after taking so much time off?" And he was going. And then today he went out and he just did a 19.4 lap, just cold. And I was like, I don't know how you're doing this. So
Yeah.
we'll see how he holds it together if his car stays together. But yeah, I'm excited. I think I want to see him podium tonight. So I'm telling him he podiums or he's walking home. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
So yeah, man, out here at Die Hard RC, it's pretty rad. So I sent you a picture or a quick little clip. They
Yes.
are starting to put together a monster truck track out here.
Yep, we talked about that. I don't know if we talked about it on the stream or if we just you and I talked about it. I don't remember either.
Go.
Oops.
Yeah. So there it is.
Yeah.
I should have sent you the horizontal video.
Now, were you
Yeah.
shooting it with the HDR setting?
I don't know. I just whipped out
Okay.
the camera and shot it. Why did it look like crap on your end?
Well, sometimes they blow out really bad when you put it into software or whatever if it doesn't handle it. Like if you
Oh,
put like an HDR clip into a non-HDR timeline,
gotcha.
then
Yeah.
you gotta like
yeah.
pull the highlights all the way down.
Yep. No, it
Yeah.
probably was. It was one of those things where you just hold the camera and start recording. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So the track is a multi-use track, and so this one's emulated after the Monster Jam,
Right.
World Finals 2022 for the real trucks, and it's
Okay.
got the over underpass on it. I'm sure they would be open to feedback, and I have some feedback, but I
The
don't know.
jumps are pretty big for a monster
jumps are-
truck.
Yeah, that's what first thing I told him. I was like, generally the jumps are like twice the size of the tire at most, like from what I've seen. You know what I mean? Like height wise, elevation.
Yeah, I mean we run them bigger. Let me play it one more time for people. I'm gonna mute it this time so you can keep talking.
All right. It's hard for me to see it because of my connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like right
they're
there,
pretty good size.
those outside ones are kind of big.
Yeah.
Like those are booters. I think those, if they were flattened quite a bit and maybe widened out, they'd be perfect.
Yeah, they're big air sends. They're like basher size jumps.
Yeah, but the other thing that's cool about them is that, like I told Dalton, and I was like, hey, just slow it down, backside it. And that's what he was, and that it makes you race. It makes you find a better line. So it was nice because the tracks.
Now, is it matched in a way that you can do split things or not really?
What do you mean?
It's more, well, like we would normally do them where you'd come down to like J turns or you can.
So it's head to head. So you can't see on this, but what it is that you start back to back, just like the just like the real world panels.
And then it's matched.
Yeah, so like
matched jumps.
when he goes to it's mirrored on the other side.
Yep, I gotcha. Which works too. Yep.
So like after he takes this big gapper, then he takes a left and then comes through the chute. So the other track would go off that booter first, go through the chute first as the other one's going over the top.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
And then it's just a complete circle. And then you can see in the background, there's actually a 4-pack out in the background. And that's for more of that Chicago style.
Yeah, going around.
Other
chase style kind of,
Yep. And
That's
they're going to put
cool.
Kalen just asked, I could kind of see the comment sometimes. I turn my screen down to save my battery, but he asked if they're putting a drag in. Yeah, there's a spot in between that and the 4-pack that we can drag into. So it's pretty rad. It's like
so straight line for like
Penda
retro
style.
or Penda. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So
NPR to Speed Channel.
I can't see that one.
Kalen says, yay, it went from NPR to Speed Channel.
Maybe I should wear my shades and my taco hat every time then. Drink sponsored by Monster.
Right. So back to the low-C monster trucks before we go. One of the cool things they did is they've got a bunch of videos out already showing how to work on them because it's so different and how to operate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have videos showing how to like change out. They've got the aluminum hubs and everything coming out for it. And change your body panels, take the rider off because there's a body clip and he comes apart in two pieces. And they've already got a template for that they're letting people download to do their own graphics.
I thought about jumping on
you up, man. Like I need some CCXRC sticker bomb for the green and black machine.
Oh yeah. No, I totally thought about that because it's like, oh dude, I could do that. Like, make some really cool ones, make some Metal Militia ones with the flames on them, like the old school Deegan one.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Well, how many people are getting them based on riders? I mean, do a lot of you guys follow motocross, supercross? Like the Deegan now, his son is Danger Boy's running Yamaha, so that's blue.
Yep.
Eli Tomac is blue.
I used to follow it so much, but I stopped. I mean, it's just I used to daydream that I would go out there. So I wasn't like a super great athlete, but I was at a level where my coaches wouldn't allow me to get on a motorcycle, even though that's what like our family life was like, playing in the dirt, that kind of thing. And so I never really got a chance to really ride them. Like I was always in the truck, but I couldn't do the motorcycle stuff. And I always wanted to go for it because I used to be into snowboarding a lot, and but I never got into it. And then I lost that edge. I started getting old and knew that I would break stuff. So I was like,
They still do, man. Some of those guys are just constantly getting hurt. Like all the big wigs, all the big guys in the 450 class just took themselves out the last 3 weeks this past year. Yeah, I follow it closely. Like I mean, I don't like follow stats or go and keep up, but I watch every week and follow like as they're going, like where they are in the standings and that kind of stuff, how many points they are.
Can you do me a favor? Speaking of standings, can you pull up my live RC? I can't pull it up right now, but that way.
Where do I find it?
It's live RC, and then it's the recent tracks. It's at Die Hard. I could probably send you a link.
I'm pulling it up now. Recent tracks. So live results, I guess.
Yeah. They're just starting his heat.
Then you go to switch tracks. Who are you at?
Die Hard. Monroe. Or no, Snohomish, Washington.
Die Hard Turf Tuesday.
Yep, that's us.
All right, I'm pulling it up.
Cool. He should be in there.
Watch live.
You don't have to watch it. I just wanted to know where he's finishing.
Okay, he's 6 right now.
They're just I think they're just are they actually running? I think they're just taking a practice lap right now.
Okay, it says race length 5 minutes. Doesn't look like it started yet. So
yeah, I think they're staging. Okay. Anyways, sorry. Go back to your motocross stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean it just looks amazing. they're so prepped for this release. You can tell that they've put a lot of thought and effort into it.
Yeah, big time.
And the way that people are just straight jumping them and wheeling and doing so many cool things with them is what I've always wanted to be able to do with one.
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up racing bikes, and so everything, you watch little kids now where they, take little things and they jump. That was me. If there was like a little tuft in like the blanket I was sitting on, I would like ramp it,
Yep.
And I just sit there and mess around with what the folds of my pants, doing little jumps over, So yeah.
That's awesome.
Cody Vandenberg is here. All right. So we can move on from that. I did mention Badlands because of that. I can talk a little bit about it. Cody being so it was amazing. The weather was great. It wasn't too hot as it's going to be in Nashville. It was like low 90s, upper 80s, dry as all get out, like
nice,
dusty dry, but it was a little humid. It wasn't bad. It was overcast.
Yeah.
And so it's very manageable as far as the temperatures, which is amazing. Like it's been either rainy there or like super hot. And so this year was kind of a little of both. There was one day that Saturday, the last day, was like afternoon was getting hot. Like it was the sun was out and it was hot, but overall it was really good. But it was the rock racing day, so we were straight standing in the sun. I heard Dalton's name.
Yeah, I think he's got the lead. Sorry,
he is in first right now.
Nice.
Yep.
That's great for the. I was wondering if it was going to get humid out there or not.
Yeah, back to first, going back and forth. So yeah, I mean, the rock racing, it was tough. Like there was a huge blind spot, and I mean huge.
Yeah.
It was like 20 feet long of.
So did you compete in those?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
So the rock racing I do compete in. It's the only thing I do competition there.
Okay.
And it was tough. Like I had my kids. I realized right away, you guys are gonna have to stand here and say left, right, straight. I actually said passenger driver. The problem is they needed to be like driver, and it's too hard. So the next one are like left, right, left. Then go left. Like and keep saying it because I was like, I'm watching everybody. They go left, and then they keep turning too far.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you say left, I'm gonna do it in burp, and then if I need to keep going, just keep saying left, and I'll keep burping, and then straight, like
right.
So we had this plan, but then they turned it around on the second one, and we went. Your son's still winning, and so we went the other way, and it was a lot easier because you hit it straight, and then they just had to give you the one turn, and then you saw yourself again. And I thought I won it. Because we did 2 laps the first time, and somehow I missed the announcement that it was 3 laps. And so, man, I was hauling. I was like way out in front for like the main event. Yeah. So I barely made the main. I took third in the other one, like barely got in. And so I was like, dude, like I won. And they didn't say like we have a winner. I'm like, how many laps? They're like 3. I'm like, hammer down. And I ended up rolling it on the 3rd lap. And I couldn't get it to rock because I have that metal cage and it's very flat.
Oh, yeah.
Very flat. So I was
then
very stuck. Yeah, but it took like 30 seconds for somebody to pass me. I was so far in front.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's all right. I mean, that's the whole point of it, is to just be like kind of carnage and crazy, like there's a little bit of luck involved with winning at that. So if you don't break your car running into a rock or something, or roll yourself, that's why they only do 3 laps. And then the hill climb or the rock bouncing that they did was just like more just get to the finish fastest time, one time. A lot of us couldn't even get even halfway. It was so tough.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it. I had no drag brakes set on mine because I had set mine for bashing. And I didn't have a program card with me or initiative. Also, I'd rounded out my wheel hub, trying to self-right my car.
Yeah.
Well, I clamped it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the courses are great. Like the trails, there's so many trails, and that part of it's awesome. We did the 24 scale comp, and you were interrupting. Go for it.
What?
You were saying so. You were going to say something, and I.
Oh no, keep going. It's
Okay.
still related, so just keep going.
Yeah,
I'm also listening. It sounds like there's a battle for first through fourth, like really tight right now.
Yeah, there
Dalton's
is.
down in third.
Dalton's in fourth now, and they're all very close, according to this.
I think he got fourth.
Yeah. Oh, he's in third now on the thing.
What's crazy is I have
second. Are they still going?
Yeah.
They're still racing?
Yep. Yeah. They're racing to the tone.
Okay.
Whoa, blue car. Did you forget to turn?
Uh-oh.
Okay. All done. Mason, you're done. I'll stop. Stop, Mason. Stop.
Did they not call his name?
Waiting on Brody.
I just heard Dalton, but that was like.
Yeah, he's in fourth there, locked in. Okay. Yeah, he got fourth.
Okay, so that was finished. Randy to the top. Very
yeah.
good.
So the 24 scale went well.
Yeah.
We got there on Thursday, so we weren't on the schedule, which was a little of a bummer. Because if you weren't there Wednesday night to hear that we were going to have the event Thursday morning at 10 a.m.,
yeah,
you didn't know. And then also most people were trying to get through tech, which didn't open until 9.
And I got fourth.
I know. Good job, dude.
He was in first for a long time.
It sounded like there was a wreck. Yeah, it's all good. I'll take it. I got to. He just dropped his car. He's like, turn it off. I got to go Marshall. Anyways, so if you weren't there, you didn't know, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, Pat's in here, and he and his wife did finish the rock bouncing. She was the first one to actually make it to the finish, I believe.
Nice.
She saw a line that was great. I couldn't even hit the line because I had 0 brakes and 0 drag brake set. So I had an idea that I was going to try to jump over the upper barrier, but the camera guy was standing there, and I didn't feel like, because then I'd like give my tail.
Didn't feel like giving him a haircut.
All right.
You froze, or I froze. Someone froze. Who froze?
I froze. We all.
Okay.
I froze for sure. Both mine were pinwheeling.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So anyway, Pat did. He completed it as well. I didn't stay to see who won. I ended up busting mine again. We went flying off, and I was pretty warm at that point. So it was very hard visually because for videoing the event, and this isn't the reason for doing events, but it was very boring. Like the rock racing was very boring. The way that it was more entertaining watching the people call left, right, left, and point.
Yeah.
Than trying to do the racing, because there was no race going on. Like it was like, if you finish or you don't roll, like the 3 cars that were left standing somehow made it, and they were like spread out by like a minute finish time.
Yeah.
So that's what, and they weren't going fast, because once they got through that blind spot, they just went slow because they knew nobody else was making the blind spot, and so they were just going around everything.
Right.
So it wasn't entertaining to watch, and it wasn't entertaining to film.
Yeah.
So I stopped filming. I got a few shots. I'm like, eh. And it was the same with the rock bounce. Most of the people went up, and then they came down, and they were done.
Yeah.
And the crashes weren't spectacular the way that it was rolling and falling. And it was like, they had a big send it thing that they wanted for toward the finish. Like there was this big hip, and if I'd have made it, I'd have backflipped.
Yeah.
But so many people get that far that they weren't willing to send it. The other thing is, if you did send it and you went out of bounds, you're done.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The boundary, like where you would totally go out of bounds if you did a send off it. So like they had this, but it wasn't like they wanted like a spectacular jump for the finish to try and like get time, but it wasn't really feasible for people to want to do it, because so few were making it that far that they just rolled that thing. So, but yeah, I mean, we didn't have the mud. We didn't have some of the other things that made the rock racing so intense last time and crazy, because everyone had to go through it, and you just weren't sure if you're going to get stuck or like
Sure.
your motor was going to freeze up. So there were those kind of things that were happening. But yeah. There was one person that reversed down. It wasn't Pat's wife, because she just hung the grass line and took it up. But there was somebody that came down the hill in reverse, so that they could just be kind of gunning it and keeping their nose up and then ride it up, which was very, very cool idea. So yeah.
Videoing that type of it's hard because like the other part of it is that just sucks up all the bandwidth, meaning like you get an hour of something not very exciting for a 3-second very exciting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you're doing like what you were saying, like even the highlights were like meh, like
yeah,
those are tough, because then editing and that kind of stuff, like you have to go through all that to find that one spot.
So I thought they were still fun. Like from the competition standpoint, it was awesome.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Stuff like that. That was the kids course too. Like they should have just made the kids course up and down and finished down in the hole. Like that was your finish line. I think there was only one kid that competed anyway. And I think he made it up the hill, but out of bounds coming down. So like, but to the thought of them trying to hang it and keep up it, and they weren't going to be able to do it. It was tricky. It was so sandy. But it was fun. Like the skill level for the people doing it, that was the thing. Like it said, the good guys with the well set up trucks definitely stood out, right? So it was timed. So there's two ways to look at it. You know, do you want to do it where it's like try and get somebody through the fastest, or are you trying to see like who can get through it? And it was kind of more that is what it felt like, because well, I got to be careful like how I say things, because I don't want it to come across as negative toward things, but like, well, no, I mean, it's like one of their stock vehicles would have a very hard time doing it. Like, so if they were trying to think of it from like, hey, people that buy our RC come here and they're going to be hitting this with a stock truck.
You're like, nah.
It wasn't built to it. Like,
right.
Test it with a stock truck and see if they're going to do it. Like,
sure.
I don't know that a stock Rift would have been able to do it. Like
hold that thought. I mean, keep on talking.
Tries.
I can still hear you. I just got to go get a wrench. But and you can still hear me because I got my headset on. But that's kind of the thing that I was wondering about for the next kind of topic was. So, I'm pretty sure I'm greenlit from my boss.
Yeah.
That Axialfest is going to happen for us. So now I've got some major program action to have to figure out. And I'm looking at, the most economical way is to do a Rift kit and a base camp kit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, if you only had, so I'll be bringing yours out there just to show before, and then if we find someone that's going to Indiana or going to Michigan, then
they can ride it back or close.
So my question is, if I only had one rig to run up there, what's the rig? Right, because I won't have. It's not like right now where I have like a crawler set up for hard lines and a crawler set up for scale, and you know what I mean. Like I don't have that, so an axial, so I have to make a decision on what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
So, in your eyes, going to an event like this, what would be the best?
It's very trailing. At least Badlands are very trail based.
Okay.
Most of the people that I talk to actually like the SCX6 course for their 10 scale. Because those were built toward bigger trucks going over them.
Sure.
Where some of the trails really felt like they just kind of led you to our quarry, where then there was a ton of stuff to do there.
Right.
But if you wanted harder lines, most of them were found just making your own like hard line.
Right. Right.
Or, you know, because the gates are so wide, it's not about hitting the gates. Like you can take an easy route. So that's the nice thing is that it's just taking you and showing you different ways to get places and then start another one.
Sure.
But it's definitely more trail based, not like hardcore rock crawling based.
Right. Right.
So our course for the S6 24s was different than all of that. Like our gates were 6.5 to 7.
Oh, that's big.
No, not really.
7?
6.5 wide. No.
7 seems massive.
Well, and that was only if it was a really big one that would lean, because the goal wasn't really.
Oh, I see.
I mean, it's again time trying to get people to go through in a fast time.
Sure.
So, you know, people did hit a lot of gates still.
Right.
Can I have 2?
Candy break.
Oh yeah, there you go. And he wants 2. He's a true spoken like a true kid. But yeah, I mean, I thought the for the trails, the builder's kit that I put together was awesome for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I sold my SCX 10.3 and they were having a blast with it hours out. And the Jeep one that I built for 2020, I sold that there. And again, that has smaller tires and probably made it more fun because of some of the challenge.
Sure.
So it may actually be more fun if you have something that's like yours where it's heavier up top and kind of trail oriented.
Well, the way I was looking at, so you remember the car I gave away, the U4 style truck?
Yep.
If I got 2 base camp kits, that's what I would do with them.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And then just
those would handle really good. Like I had a blast with it. So
you
if
don't
you
think
put
it's
your
necessary
favorite
to-
tires on there, then it'll definitely add difficulty to the trail for you.
Yeah. Oh. And the funny thing is, I don't have those tires. The only tires I run those on are my U4 car for racing.
Oh, okay. Okay, and it works for that.
I don't crawl with those. I gave you
Pat,
those.
Pat, I think it's Pat Smodgy. I talked to his wife. We didn't have time to talk. He was busy doing the comp stuff. But I did talk to her, and I recognized Pat. Well, basically, I recognized the mountain biking gear, and knew that he did mountain biking and a whole bunch of that stuff. So he was saying that the bouncing was too difficult if you didn't have the right setup. But yeah, he said we had a good 4A battle dropping times until the last runs. It was a blast, but definitely not too well on video. Yeah, so it wasn't like gun it, bounce up rocks and try and like get, unless you fell down, there was a hard part trying to get up, but it wasn't bouncing through rocks. It was like a sandy hill climb.
Okay.
Or sandy
and then he hit the one
descent.
rock or the one. Or
but
the
there
one
wasn't.
Then,
yeah.
There
wasn't any real bounce of anything. It was just wheel speed up. But it's so sandy, and you had to hang the right line to hook the top and get yourself over. And there's a little bump at the top to get over, but it didn't they weren't bouncing.
In your opinion, would it be better to say I get a crawler, right? A 10 scale crawler. Would it be better to get the brushed motor and get
brushed
the pinion
is totally
back?
fine. Yep.
Well, I mean, I have the brushless.
Yeah.
But would it be better to do like get one set up with the pinion and one set up with the pinion, and then just swap it out for the comps? Because the comps you have to do a 21 turn. I thought.
For the rock bouncing and stuff. There's an open class in all of them. There's an open class.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the rock race you had to only have a.
And because they make that hard section anyway, it really isn't about speed. Like, just don't roll or get rolled over by a competitor hitting you. So
once you roll, you're out.
Yeah, there's no unless you can save yourself.
Gotcha.
Or somebody runs into you later and knocks you over. Yeah, so there's nobody flipping cars over anything. Once you roll, you're done. And that's what makes it tough with a blind spot.
Yeah,
we had. So you were lucky to get around. It was probably a little difficult, like especially the kids. Hey, Dalton,
He
that
can't
was
hear you.
that was the hard part. Was the kids like trying to get them like, no, your other left.
Yeah.
No, your other left. But they've done it before with blind spots. It wasn't that long of one. It was usually just you'd go behind a tree for a split, couple feet. But there was usually something back there that could knock you. But you just hit it with speed and you were through it and you weren't thinking too much about it. Unless you didn't appear on the other side, you knew that you had done something dumb. So yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. My thing, like I say, keep doing things the way they're doing them. You have some years it's gonna be better than others, whatever. I've done the rock racing twice now, and this was my least favorite of the courses, but they're all difficult in different ways for each one. They didn't have the mud where they used to run them, but where it was there, the other place you had different ways that you go down in these hills and you come up them, and it was very difficult because of the way it'd make your trucks lean. But this one had one uphill part, and that was the behind the hill, but the rest was pretty simple.
Yeah.
And then I never did the rock bouncing before because I never was set up for it. So I did the front diff lock this time, but then I turned off the drag brake and everything because I like to jump them.
Yeah.
And so I was talking with Exo Cage. We were like, dude, you know how cool it would be? Like, there's this one section where it's just hills and rocks, and it's like, if you just started here and did a drag race to down there fastest time, like the footage that you get from that with cars like just flying through the air off the things and hitting
ballooning
rocks
tires
and going crazy. I mean, you probably would never open up that much, but you'd definitely be hitting these jumps and coming through and like hitting rocks and like, but you'd be carrying speed and like really bouncing that thing.
Right.
Which is where I play with it.
King swing at the monster truck place?
No, not right now.
Oh.
The track's not ready. We were just testing it.
Okay.
He wants to go.
Yeah, he wants to go break it.
I know. I know.
Yeah, can I go break the King sling over on the monster truck course?
I
Those jumps
know.
are big, man.
They are. So I took some other video of it going, and they are huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were probably getting a good, 5 feet off the deck easily, and that's just going straight and letting it rip. You know what I mean?
Andre's here.
Hey, what's going on, Andre?
He said, "What's up, Coach? Looking pretty relaxed sitting trackside, Pablo." His event looked super fun. Yeah.
Oh, so that's the new
the 5K.
thing. So that's my new flavor. I haven't told you that yet. I made the commitment. I don't know if I want to say I'm going to do it at Axialfest, but I made the commitment that I'm going to train to do that 5K.
Nice.
And you've seen me. I'm not. Cody actually told me, or KLN, he actually said, he goes, "You're a tank, not a rally car." Well, I'll grab that lower gear and go. So we'll see how it happens.
Just run over the rest of the people, break their trucks. So that was one of the things. Like, there's just one kid that was out front, and he just destroyed his front axle.
Oh,
They're running and going fast, and he hit something, and it's just totally destroyed his So
that's what I'm worried about. I'm sure they have parts there, but that's what I'm worried about, like going there all that way and then busting a car right off the bat.
Right.
No, don't. You can just hold off for a minute. You're going to race in a minute.
Well, that's why you have mine as a backup
Yeah.
to drive. You definitely have to have that. So that was the funniest thing. We tried 3 times to go crawling. So my kids have those Wraith 1.9s, which are, I mean, in my opinion, they're probably one of the best ready to runs that Axial has come up with or delivered. Like out of the box, they're just nuts.
Yeah.
And I haven't done a base camp RTR yet, so I can't compare to that.
Sure.
But like, they just tackle lines, dude. They just keep going, and I'm like, oh, this one's a little tricky, and then they just go over it, and I'm like, no technique that they're trying to do. They just drive it up it, and you're like, what? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But, so I sold that SCX10. he didn't have a radio to run it. So I'm like, well, just here, use this one
Oh no.
that is bound to.
Gave away your kids' radio.
Yeah, but he had one that said his name and 1.9 Wraith on it.
Okay.
So whatever. I figure he's tested it. He said his is like, oh yeah, mine turned on, whatever lights are on, blah blah blah. We're good. The other one. We get down all the way, we wait for the shuttle, take it down, get off, shuttle leaves, we go to run him, nothing. I try binding.
Oh,
So
no.
then I go to the orange remote and I realized that the one I bound to my other sons, who we gave his remote away,
Yeah.
his had been bound because he had destroyed it and he had to get a different radio. It was bound to this. I had to bind it to the orange one, whatever. Well, then I couldn't get that radio to bind the stock radio to the stock system. Oh, how cute.
That's the track dog. That's Sunny.
Yep.
Say hi,
So
Sunny.
cute.
You're famous. All right. Sorry.
Anyway, and it was yeah, I mean, so we get and so we wait for the and it probably took a bathroom break, whatever. You know, the drivers need a break too.
Sure.
They're just going back and forth. So whatever, it was a really long wait. We get it. We go back, and so he takes the Capra. No, my other son takes the Capra, whatever. And my older son, Dino, who had the bad radio, we found out it was technically his orange radio went with the orange bomb or whatever. So we go, the other son takes the Capra. The same son, Dino, smokes his car 5 minutes into the trails this time.
Oh no.
And we have this. We didn't wait for the thing this time, so we walked in from camp. So we walked all the way in, and we were 5 minutes into the trail, 5:10, and had to walk it back out. And then he took his brother's car because both of them were bound out of that same radio, and we went back in. Third time was a charm, but he was killing lines with that Wraith, dude. Killing lines.
I was looking at all the different ones to look at. So I looked at the 10.3 JLU kit. I looked at that one and I was like, that just seems like a lot. Like not a lot. Like it just seems like a lot to put together and to go on. And I think you said it's a long build to get it to get it there. Like you know what I'm talking about?
Which one to build?
The 10.3 Jeep kit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the transmission and that make it harder because it's got all the digs and the 2-speed and
right.
There's more going on and it's clickier. Like it sounds scarier when it's driving. Because I had to tell the guy that bought them, like, they sound like that. He's like, oh, we've heard them all on the trail. We know. Because you feel bad, like you sell something and you're testing it for them, and you're like, well, that's normal. Like that clicking, the clicking is. Just trust me. Like they all do that, normal. Right?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I was looking at that one, and then because I was like, ooh, I could cut the top off and make a quick half cage for it, like whip it up real fast and bolt that on, and then have a scale crawler kind of a thing. And then I was like, well, if I just did a base camp kit, the problem is I don't know if the money coming in versus the money going out is the right time for them to be shipping and time for me to get it and build it. And I'm like, I've got a bunch of
you're already working on other projects. You're better off starting ready to run probably.
Yeah.
And then just strapping stuff to it, putting your flavor on it.
Yeah. No, I thought about that too. It's just, it's one of those things where
the cost is about $100 more per though.
I know that's the problem. And I have all the parts that I'm going to put on it already. So it's like, I mean, I have the motor, the ESC, the servo.
And what if you did 1 and 1? You left one of them brushed with the stock electronics and all that. And then you do the other one, your brushless build.
So Andre's in here, and he says, I need a Rift. It's more my style. I don't know that a Rift's more my style.
He also saying he's better go to West because he thinks the main dude is going to make it. I don't think.
What main dude?
I'm guessing for the 5K.
Oh, I don't know. So here's what I'm thinking. So they have a 1.9 5K. So I was like, oh, I could run a 1.9 in that. But the thing is, he sent me out back half to reverse engineer that he built so I can make some plans out of it. And I was like, hey, I could throw that on a base camp and already have it be half caged already, and then just
Yeah.
put a truck body on the front. So I was like, I could do that. But yeah, I'm torn because it also turns that weekend. I mean, you know how that goes. They add up and it turns into a pretty pricey weekend when you buy
Oh yeah.
2 trucks just for that, and then you go
Yeah.
out and you. Dude, I've just got gas skyrocket. Remember how I was complaining about gas out of town?
Yeah.
It was $5.19 here for the cheapest stuff today.
Whew.
I
Yeah,
was
it's like 350 here. 350.
and I'm going to California with that, so I was like, oh,
Gosh.
it's brutal.
So there's a couple questions in here. Darwin, first of all, says he walked almost 21 miles at Badlands. Yeah, we walked a lot.
Wow. That's
Troy's
crazy.
Hobbies, what's up? Did we go across the bridge with 200 pool noodles? We did. So they were calling it like the Rainbow Bright Bridge. I called it the Disney Princess Bridge. My kids called it the Cotton Candy Bridge.
Sounds like a Mario Kart bridge to me.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And at that point, we teamed up with the Horizon Hobby video crew guys. We're awesome dudes. Let me just say,
Feel like
TJ,
rookies.
Pete, and
No, just
Tom.
kidding.
I think that's who. I think there was just the 3 of them on that one. Yeah, TJ, Pete, and Tom. And so 2 of them had cars with them, and then TJ was just doing social media stuff and drone shots. So you had this like straight down drone shot of it. It was really rad. But we were like extra cars to have driving in it. But yeah, it's funny because it'll promo a couple cars they don't even have anymore, like the Riff 19 and then the UMG is what Tom was running. I need to build my UMG. I should send that to you to build to run there. Of course, I already bought metal cool welded stuff for it, so that wouldn't need you to do anything to it. And Scale Metal Supplies just did a rad UMG.
He did that.
Andres. I was like, I need to talk to him about caging.
Yeah, that green stuff is awesome. I know it's like
so it was so my truck all the way around. I'm like, I just need to intercept that package leaving his shop because that should be my truck.
I was wondering about that for you, like, because the plan for yours, remember, we were planning on doing like the olive drab and then doing kind of like a patinaed look, and I was like, that doesn't really go with the bright neon green.
Yeah, you need some like wore out parts of the bright green. Yeah,
maybe we could do that. No, thank you. Oh, look at that. You see what he just did? Here, hold on, let me show it. Hold on, let me show it. I'm gonna spray you. He puts this in my face like I was like, cool down, Dad. Let's go.
Oh, the fan?
No, it's the Gatorade bottle.
Oh.
Don't you squirt me with that.
I didn't see the Scale Horizon hobby van. That would have been cool.
Stop, bud. All right.
Sport 95, Alex, what's up? Yeah, I didn't get to see Andre as much as I wanted to. Man, it was so busy. Even as many days as it was, there was always something going on. Like
that's what I'm really
go.
Yeah, that's what I'm really excited about because I don't have any commitments there aside from just going and playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and dropping off the 11 Charlie truck. Nothing. I'm talking. What do you need?
They're finishing up qualifying, and then I'll be back on the track.
Okay, I swapped your battery, so all you have to do is turn it on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wicked.
All right.
Go get him, Dalton.
Tony says, "Go get it." It means tear it up. Go race fast.
I gotta get third to go into the A main or B main.
I don't. Are there 2 quals, or are you just going in the mains tonight?
They're finishing qualifying.
I know, but are there 2 quals, or are you just doing 1? I think there's just 1.
I don't know.
All right. Okay.
It might be in the main anyway.
Yeah, because tonight's just the quick race where it's like, watch this. I'm just gonna punch him in the stomach. All right, go.
What's up, Travis? So yeah, I'm looking for that footage you got from the 5K. I got some good footage of them running. I haven't done anything with it yet. because I got home and immediately started getting my monster trucks ready. So I go to Monster Jam tomorrow. I head to Nashville tomorrow. And I had not touched that truck since how long was it? It was about 8 months ago, the last time I drove that truck. So
Out of practice.
well, yeah, and it's a race truck, so I don't like to get it tore up. So
Yeah.
that's the nice thing, is it was like ready to go. I dusted it off and it looked like $1 million again. So it's like show ready. However, I also just finished up the LMT TLR, and I just posted footage of that running, and that thing, it doesn't, like, you know how you're saying with the King Sling doesn't wheelie up? Dude, this
Yeah.
is longer. So imagine that.
Oh, wow.
It just
It
straight,
just plants and twists, huh?
or maybe it's the same length. I thought it was a little longer. It's neither of them, I guess, fit. So maybe it is the same length as the King Sling. It's long wheelbase. So that was one of the things a lot of people complained about because it didn't fit in their rules for their whatever. But boy, does it make it just hammers down and does not wheelie up.
Yeah.
So it donkey kicks a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Set up on the shock, so I need to dampen it some. But I'm also thinking freestyle's more my game anyway.
Yeah.
And a little donkey kick could help me do
get a nice little twist up in the air. Yeah.
well, I'm thinking moonwalks. Like,
Oh, there you go.
if I do a backflip and that back end kicks,
Yeah.
just slam reverse.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of, after this, so we're probably going to have to push to next month then, if you're doing monster trucks this month, to do our little freestyle.
I know, but I'll have one ready. Although, well, the one I normally do is all tore up. We fixed it after the teardown for Horizon RC Fest, and then I broke it on the freestyle there. I haven't posted any of that footage yet either.
Yeah.
There's a ton of monster truck footage from there too, and just event footage, crawler footage.
You're gonna have an awesome fall
So
recap.
July is going to be like a bunch of just video editing. Going to have more coming from Monster Jam, which I think I'm going to try to prioritize this year and make it like, quick turnaround on those, and drop some of the other stuff and then do it after. So, but there's going to be some awesome videos from Horizon RC Fest. King of RC showed up for the rock racing, got outshined by Kevin wearing the Eagle American flag.
I saw that.
It's so wicked, man.
That's pretty funny.
Darwin,
That's
Owen
awesome.
Rogers, who shows up in here a lot, is the one that brought the Primal Gary Digger to the event.
That's cool.
But
That's awesome.
Alex says he finished a monster truck body for Travis. I saw the pictures. It looks stinking amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give the feedback I give on the rock racing and bouncing, knowing that every year you compare it to previous years, and so I'm curious what people think too of the SCX24 one, because it was pretty quick as far as a comp goes. Run times were anywhere from, they were about 2 minutes. Most people were getting through it in about 2 minutes. So it was longer than we intended it to be, based on, we weren't sure how many people would show up. Since we weren't on the calendar, it's driving home, be entertaining, says Harley. So yeah, I would be curious, because I would love to know thoughts going forward to change what we could do. It was definitely more comp based than a lot of the other stuff.
I think that's the hard thing with the carnival styles, and not that it's, I don't, what I mean by carnival style is like the traveling roadshow stuff. Like, it's hard because at every place you go, you're going to have a different group of talent or a group of experience, not necessarily talent, but experience. And you know what I mean? It's like you never know. Like you show up to someone's and you're running, you're not running novice, and you show up to someone else's crew and you're like, oh, this isn't your novice? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you show up somewhere else and you get absolutely smoked, and you're like, what are these guys doing? So I think that's the tough part of that kind of, thing, is that I think what you look for is how much fun people had, or the experience or the time they had on track. I think that's a big thing, is like the time you get on course. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
And it's 2
if you-
minutes, but it's different because you're also trying to go fast. You're not like
Sure.
trying to like
Yeah.
go slow. But I felt like most people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Especially the people that got to try it more than once. So that was the
Yeah.
other thing, is like we said you could do more, you could bring more than one car, or we had a stock car. If you didn't drive a stock, you could run it,
Do you
which
know if
ended
they're
up
doing?
getting raffled away because I gave it to Brad Brucker from Horizon so he could set gates for their course for a 24 scale because they hadn't been set yet. So we passed, like we were leaving our comp and passed him in the van, handed him off a stockish one so he could make sure that stock cars could do it. And I never got it back. And then I was like, dude, I'll get it at the last event. Well, we decided to tear down early. Like we were spent.
Yeah.
And so we were like, we're not getting any awards, whatever. And so like, well, let's just, we can be home. It's only 4 hours now, so we can just go. We had the camp booked till Sunday, but we're like, let's just get out at 5, 6, be home by 10. That's what we did.
So you basically took your toys and ran home.
Well, we didn't take all the toys because Tom had one of my toolkits still, and then and then Brad had that. And I tried to tell somebody, just give it to somebody to bring to me up, because I'm going to be heading down with them to Monster Jam because Lucy's going to be there. And then apparently that message didn't get to them because they called me out at the awards thing and I wasn't there.
Oh no!
And they were like, "Well, we're just going to raffle this thing off then." And they were joking, but a friend texted me and I'm like, "Dude, tell them to raffle it. Just go for it. Like, it'd be hilarious." But keep it up.
That's
is just
cool.
like you're just raffling it off because he's a punk and isn't here. But it was, that thing won the Horizon RC Fest stock. Like I handed it to somebody never done it. It was so good. It won that.
Nice.
Girl won the 12 and under class with it too. And I'd hand it to her saying, this one's pretty good. It's one, the last events we did.
Yeah.
It usually does really good. And so this little girl got a used, but very nice. Well, and it was custom painted white and black, like my old Jeep.
Nice.
Black top.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
do you know
I forgot that it had my custom body on it, but whatever.
Do you know if they're going to have a 24? I'm sure they're going to at West.
I don't know. And I said I would be willing to go and do one if they wanted me to. I'd fly out to do it and bring gates and stuff, which look like murder weapons when you put them in your backpack, take them out. Because I left them set up. I was hoping to get back to run it myself with my, to show the new 4-steer stuff and do a video on it. Because it was a really cool course that we set up. It turned out to be really wicked. So the funny thing was Bill from the recon crew that sets up all the stuff. We show up at 8 to start setting up. I believe it was 8. Yeah, we showed up at 8 to start setting gates, and he comes over and is like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Well, we're it wasn't communicated that we were doing a comp. It wasn't on the schedule, whatever. Wednesday night at the thing, they mentioned it and said show up at 10 when we do it. And so we're setting up, and after I get through all the people being like, turn around, don't bring this side by side, which I was blessed to have a side by side lent to us for that morning to take down there too.
Oh, nice.
But nobody's supposed to be on those side roads, and so everyone was turning around. I'm like, hey, we're doing the comp. We're just bringing our stuff down to set it up. Next guy, hey, we're with them. We're doing the comp. Anyway, we parked down there, set it up, and he comes over because we got our car, like one of our cars sitting on the I have black and yellow bins from Home Depot, little ones that are perfect for 24 scale. And he's like, all right, just make sure the boys don't run those because, we don't want anybody running before the time is like. And I'm like, oh, well, we're just going to check the gates. He's like, well, no, we don't run them at all. Like, we don't want any tire tracks. So I'm like, luckily, like some people showed up. The first ones came down at 9, and so we didn't start till 10. So we had time. So we just, we listened because we didn't want to put tire tracks down and make people feel like people were getting a head start.
Sure.
So we then were just at 9 o'clock trying to run the gates to make sure they were doable. And then we had like 3 gates at the end for the modified class that would not be doable. But yeah, so they set up a course for the 24 scale, but we do again, big wide gates, just making you try and go a certain route. We did
Sure.
staked in the ground gates that are tall, can't hit them with your body or anything.
Right.
So it was fun, and we did it timed, like I said, and most people did really well. We kept it tight, and we did a lot of gates to make it more fun.
So who was judging? Was it self-judged, or like how'd you handle that?
'Cause I'm not about that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Unfortunately, there's too many cheaters in the world that are just, you see it from fishing to whatever, that just that bad want to win. And I really feel like the only way to do something like this is to have steady judging. So the same people judging. So me and my boys judged.
Brutal. How long did it take to get to the whole comp? I mean, for everyone.
2 hours. 2 hours.
That's not bad.
And at one point, some woman fell and got hurt.
Oh no!
And so I had to run. I ran my 5K the day before the 5K, running, trying to find trails to get side by side in to get her out.
Oh wow!
And then find somebody to get her out, because it was going to have to do some destruction of setup courses, and I wasn't willing to. I had no official capacity as the guy running the 24 scale comp, not with Horizon Hobby, to drive over any gates or courses. So we found somebody that could, that had authority here.
What type of snake is black on the outside with a yellow line
snake?
on it?
That's a gardener snake. They're not poisonous.
Those are fun.
Do they bite?
Well, if they bite, they feel like this.
24 only does cool classes.
Because I saw one, like really skinny one.
Yeah.
But like this long, but this skinny.
Yeah, they're fine.
I saw one go into the bush.
If they bite, they don't hurt.
I really want
Okay, you can have it.
Yay.
All right.
So Harley's saying that they won in the West. They only have cool classes, so they don't do 24 scale comps.
Nice.
But he said they do have a course.
Listen, Dalton, you got to listen to when you're going. I can't pay attention, okay?
Gate 1 of their SCX 24 was brutal. Yeah, we left our course set up, like I said, and it was during the rock racing that I finally picked up the gates. And so I'm standing there about to go into the little donut they make us stand in. And I've got this backpack on with all the spikes sticking out. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have this on when we're all in here.
That's funny.
But
You're like just throwing it at people.
Yeah.
so they crash.
But no, I mean, overall was really good. Pat says definitely try to get the 24 comp on the schedule next time. Yeah, I think, it went well. We had about 50 trucks run it, which I think is kind of in about line with most of the other events. I think what I want to do too, though, is I want to get the trailer brought down. So as cool as it was to have it down there, I think that it would be better to just have it. The height definitely helps, but having something for people to do up near camp would be great.
Oh yeah.
Or while they're waiting to get on the shuttle, because there's that time where you're waiting to get on the shuttle, and it's just grass. So if we could have the course set up there, and people could just have their cars in their backpacks and play with them until they, the truck shows up, would be awesome.
That brings up a thing that I saw your video on Joe Ropes, how he has that little lanyard for your 24 to hook on your backpack. I was like, yes, like I could see that. I don't bring them up on my hikes. It's just because I don't want them in my backpack. You know what I mean? When I'm hiking. But if I could hang it off my backpack, like I hang my car off my 10 scale off my backpack, I would do that all day.
So, and we also did, I wasn't sure how trophies and all that went, or if we were going to be part of the regular ones, or how, because anyway, communication breakdown. So we ended up doing giveaways of just products. So, just have it on the shuttle. There you go. Not a bad idea. Just drive along beside the shuttle.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But what was I saying?
You were talking about trophies, giveaways.
Oh yeah. So I gave away product based on the classes they were in and what I thought, like modified. At that point, it was bigger stuff like axles. Like what wouldn't they have? Stock for the kids was a ton of stuff, like from motors and drive shafts and servos and that kind of thing. So anyway,
That's cool.
yeah, we
That's
gave away
awesome.
product, and then Joe Ropes gave one of those carriers for them all.
That's
So
cool.
that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got good
I'm
little goodie
excited.
bags.
I'm excited because I've never been to anything like that. Like, there's nothing. I mean, there's one up here, and we tried going last year, but we just did a real quick. I felt bad because we went for like the awards thing, and I won an award, and then we were out. Kind of a thing.
Yep.
But to my defense, we had to go to a funeral the next morning, so we drove like 2.5 hours to get out there because we wanted to go out and do the night run, and then we were out right after that. But we
Speaking
don't
of-
have anything that big.
Yeah, speaking of night run, since it'll probably show up on the Big Squid video anyway, it's like Crash. They were having a little pool party interview with a bunch of people, and I thought they were just hanging out, putting their feet in the pool and cooling off. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, just interrupt our live stream, Tony." And I don't even remember what I was saying to them. I was making fun of them and their feet or something. Anyway, so they called me to come and sit in there, and then they asked, like, "What's one thing you'd do different, or you'd want to see different for the year?" Which, not a fun question to get asked right away when you sit down at a pool party.
It's like Sports Center when you start crying on the. You're like, "Well, that's what it was."
Because I think it's an amazing event. Like my kids even were like, we had a blast the whole time, even when you're waiting for rock racing and it's other people's turns, you know.
Yeah.
But
Here, hang on a second. I gotta yell at the kids to get off my lawn. Hey, Dalton, go play in the field or something because you're gonna hit a car.
And you're gonna throw dust up in me.
Somewhere, sure I understand. Or go play somewhere else, like in the field back there, so you don't hit people. All right, so they're throwing the football and it's bounced over my head twice already. Anyways. But no, so you gotta ask.
So the location's amazing. I think the trails are good. They added some cool stuff in the trees, whatever. The rocks when you get to the quarry, whether you run the trails or not, are fantastic to drive on. You know, you make it what it is, and so. But the one thing that just came to mind was, because it just happened the night before, was the night run, and it was scheduled for 9. We showed up about 9. Because we didn't
get dark till 10.
Yeah.
Is that
but
how
it's
it went?
still
That's how
dusk,
it goes all the time.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, but we also had like a 20-minute walk to where they were going to start it. But we still waited till 10 and dark until we did that. And then we had that's when the drivers meeting happened. So what started at 9, I'm running my UTB-18, which has a 800 milliamp hour battery. They wanted like this photo shoot in front of like this lit up Axialfest sign. And so but there wasn't direction as to how that was going to happen or when, and so my car's just in line, like with the lights on. I finally just drove it out and I'm like, man, I don't have battery to just sit here. Yeah. And then there's like, all right, in 5 minutes. And then it's like, oh, official word 10 minutes. I'm like, well, I'm going to go back and try and charge this you know, to go back out. So by the time we get back, it's like 10, and so they left at 10, so we're 10 minutes, you know, so we walked fast to catch up all the way back down to the quarry, which is a good hike from base camp. And then we get there, but right at the beginning they are just starting the announcements, who here's it your first time, you know, like those things. And he just jumped up on the rock, and so then it's like, all right, we're all going to go over there and run. There's a ton of people. Like, it is a spectacle. Like, so that's one of the the coolest part about it is it is a spectacle to see that many RC cars and lights and headlamps and stuff just glowing. There's dust and it just looks amazing.
Yep.
So I got cool footage, and it'll look amazing in the video what I got. We didn't touch the trail. It was 10:45 and we hadn't gotten, like, I called it an RC traffic jam, like, because everybody's starting at the same gate at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like you all get there, and I'm filming. So I also have to address everything in the caveat that I'm now at the back of the line, right? So because I was filming all the cars driving past us and, you know, kicking up dust, and because all these feet moving and walking, I wanted that shot, which meant I'm at the back of the line. but it's like, man, it's 10:45, and all of us, like, there's this one guy and his girl too. They were just like, we're just bailing, like. But
Yeah.
we all got there at 9. We've been now. By the time you walk back to camp, it's 11. It's 2 hours
Yep.
of just going and deciding we're not going to do it because we're not on the trail. So we all just kind of went and hit one of the trails that was right on the edge of the road and just drove on it for a little bit with our lights on.
Sure.
But it's like, man, I don't like traffic jams in real life, and I don't want to play traffic jam. Like, I don't want that to be a game. Like,
That's
so
a tough one. And yeah, because I've shot like 3 or 4 night runs now, and it's always hard because I always want to run them. And that same problem, I'm always at the back or I'm always leapfrogging, and I'm like, my truck's there, and I never get footage of my truck out there because I'm always trying to get everyone else's. And then the lighting, what people don't realize that sucks is that you
if
have
you don't
to
turn it
have
up all
light.
the way full power, it flickers.
Well, and you have to have light on the truck, an external source of light to actually see anything on camera anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
if there's enough
like,
other trucks are lighting up each other.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But most people are wearing
and then
headlamps.
Yeah,
too.
but what I always got is people walk in front of the camera like all the time because they can't see you shooting, and so I'm like, I need to like get a big like neon suit and be like, don't walk in front of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I get that all the time. Or if I try to set up on a tripod to get a really nice crisp shot, people just go and stand in front of the tripod, and I'm like, come on, like this could be such a cool shot if you didn't stand there and blow it.
It just felt like there should have been 2 starting points. And then you finish the one, you get in the line at the other one. Because, I mean, we're talking 400 trucks. Like last year was 400 lit trucks. That's a lot if you're at the back of the line.
100%. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the one thing. And it's not a negative. It's just that's the one thing I would think about changing is like, it was a lot of standing around for nothing in the end for me because other than good footage, I got great footage.
Right.
But yeah, I'm saying, with Cody. I'll let him speak for me. Don't get me wrong. Axialfest was still an enjoyable event. No, I mean, the best part of it for me was the hangout. We just sat and talked. So we were in line, whatever. So you make the best of it. But it wasn't like cool trucks all over the rocks everywhere.
It's hard too when you're at an event like that and you've been on your feet all day, and then you're like, you just want to get this run in, and you're tired and you're sticky and you got dust all over you because you've been sweating all day. Like, I wish there was a more enjoyable way to do a night run. Our night run, the most fun night run we did was with Warrior Weekend with Warcy RC.
Yep.
And that one was fun. I don't know why that one was so much fun. Maybe it was because it was my first one, but I think we were spread out enough, and it was a long enough one so that it was like, okay, we could just go and play. It was kind of a cluster at the first, like, you know, probably the first like 5 gates was like a total cluster. But then if you just hung back and you got a couple people that you were going to run with, it was totally fun. Yeah. But that also,
that's anything when you try and launch that many people at the same time, you're going to get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gauntlet was 100%. Like that too, where when we were doing it for the race and Alex is singing for the night thing, but anything, whenever you start all at the same time and you don't like shotgun start where it's like, everybody that has this color badge show up at this time to start, or like whatever, get people.
I think it'd be cool to do, like, say you had a long linear one, right? Like, say it was a mile long. If you had 3 starting points and you snaked them, so you had like a starting point A, starting point B, starting point C.
Yeah, it's almost like, hey, you guys pick up your trucks. You're going to start at the last
halfway down
20 gates. Yeah.
Exactly.
Then,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
The people catch up, and then you both would finish. You circle back to the. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and so I don't know the answer to it. I'm just saying that's the one thing where it's like, it was like a traffic jam, but just slow traffic. So and you get that anyway because then you get people trying to make it up something tricky, and you're going to get backed up from that too. So,
or if
it is what it is.
Sometimes there's a really fun line too that everyone wants to hit, and that gets log jammed all the time too. You know what I mean? Or you get some nerd like me that's like, oh, I'm going to winch this guy out. And so you go and you start hooking up the little winch, and you're winching under the lights, and you get the dust coming up as you're winching. It just looks all scale.
Yep. Would I go back 100 times over though? Like,
Yeah.
they put on a cool show. They did really great with the different event shows at the evenings too, keeping that moving. And then the location, man, like I was saying, the rock racing, even when we weren't doing it, just hitting that terrain with a rift open was so cool. So that's some of the footage I got before my wheel went flying off, was getting to bounce the cage. So I don't know what it is like for you guys out west. I'd be curious
I'm
how it's
excited
run.
for
It's
it.
got to be similar, same people running it.
The thing I'm worried about is that we're going to do the primitive camping.
Yep.
But we're just bringing our truck down. So I'm not going to bring my trailer or anything like that, because we might link up with our family on the backside of that to do another like trip.
Yeah.
And so we're going to probably I'm going to bring a tent, but we'll probably camp in the back of the truck. And I'm just worried about batteries. Like I have one of those power banks or whatever they're called. Yeah, I have one of those like bricks that you can, it's like what do they call them, power bank or electric generator or whatever. I thought about getting a solar panel for it because it'll charge during the day, while I'm out there. And I have enough batteries. I totally have enough batteries. But I don't know. I mean, and especially if I'm only running 2 crawlers, I have batteries that will run those all day long, enough of them.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of run time. Yeah. I mean, we just kept a backpack, but I would go out to the trail and I would run it enough that I would be back to change batteries before it even die. Yeah. So the turned out the UTB 18 didn't die till the way back. So we ran it around down there and had fun on the rocks and drove it most of the way back at a pretty good clip, like running full speed on it. And it made it pretty far back. So it was pretty impressive for 800 ma.
So you're thinking the consensus is get a scaler.
Yep.
Andre said, don't get the portals. That's the weak point if I'm going to do any of the racing.
If you're going to do the racing stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like the base
That's
camp
the nice thing about the base camp is their straight axle.
The problem is I don't know if that's going to be here in time. Like, I don't know when they're shipping because it's still pre-order status right now.
It usually says, I'm going to look. It usually says when they ship.
I need to figure that out because I probably can't order it until next week, end of next week, maybe middle of the next week.
It doesn't.
I didn't see anything when I looked.
My internet's taking so long. It's making me wonder how my feed looked.
It looks fine on my end. But I don't know what, I might also just be, well, I'm out mobile, so if yours is fine, it should be fine to the rest of everyone else.
That or their website's just running really slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're in the Midwest, I would definitely put Axialfest on my to-do list of things to do. The location is insane, right at the campground there. Primitive camping, cabins. Not a whole lot in Attica other than this place. There's like a few little restaurants, Mexican, McDonald's. Looks like they're getting a Taco Bell put in, Tractor Supply, little grocery store, Dollar General, and a CVS. And a little arcade / bar place, I think.
Nice.
But yeah, it's not like a whole lot going on right there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's shipping now, dude. There's no, it just says add to cart.
Really?
Yep.
I checked yesterday. It said pre-order, or maybe that was maybe that wasn't from Horizon. Maybe that was Amy and I looked at. I don't know. Either way, that's good news. Hopefully it doesn't sell out.
So yeah, it looks
figure that out.
decent. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'll get those ordered up. Don't tell my wife.
The kids unfortunately hear me say some of that, like, we should get an SCX6 here. They're on sale. We'll just ditch the box before we get back to camp and drive it in, so it's like we always had it. And they're like, what? I'm like, nothing. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah, just talking out loud. Yeah.
Because those honchos look so sick, man. Everybody had their SCX6s there. It's so rad.
I can't wait to debut this one. I talked to Spec again today, so I'm getting excited. So I've got, dude, It's good. It's gonna be nuts. So I've been working like crazy.
It's only a
like,
couple weeks, bro. You got to be like hardcore hammering it out.
dude, you have
You're
no
gonna run
idea.
out of time.
You have no idea. I'm gonna be up to the wire on everything, and that's what I'm worried about with the crawler. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm like, if I get a base camp kit, at least I could use Andre's back half, but you know, and just bolt everything else on as I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll probably poach the power system I have in the Phoenix and Dalton's power system out of his Night Runner. I'll poach those out, and then that way we'll have, you know, good electronics and good servos and stuff down there. So, you know, I'm excited to meet the people I've never met before. It's like Reef. I've never met Reef in person. You know, I've really never met any of the people that I talk to online in person. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
I got to talk with them very briefly at the end.
Yeah.
Because again, I was slammed. So that first day, Thursday, we were setting up the course, doing all that. I don't remember what we did the afternoon. Oh, I had to count all the scores, tabulate who was winning, get together prizes, go get bags for them, some other stuff like that. The next day, David Pig, one of our buddies, offered to take us out on the side by side, and he let my son run it, even like on the sand dunes and all that.
You sure you want to do this,
dude? He donkey kicked us so bad, like going up. I was in the back seat, like I was like, oh, I'll just crawl in the back.
Yeah.
And I mean, the back seat of his, so he's got one of the Honda ones where it's also like it looks like a 2-seater, but it has like the back where you can have the work area, but there's flip up seats. So the back is, you're sitting way at the back of it. The motor's in the center of this Honda.
The axle. Yeah.
So I mean, we donkey kicked, like I was off the seat, like, you know, still holding on to the bar, but like ducking because my head's going toward the ceiling. Like,
that's funny.
I mean, we didn't leave the seat, but your whole body lifts, so you know you're trying not to let it slam.
Your guts lift the seat. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
and he did 2 in a row. Boom, boom. But he's like, I didn't want to tell you to slow down. It could have gotten weird.
I got the low. Yeah, I know, right? I got the low battery timeout on my phone here, so I think we got to wrap up.
All right.
I don't have my power brick with me. I was like, whoops.
Yeah, Jeff Walters in here. Our Reaction RC has been running some comps at their like pre-gauntlet comps at the course there, so they've been doing a lot of work there. It's looking fantastic. So Jeff Walter,
that's cool.
Very, very
that
good.
That would be a
looking.
fun one to go to. We should talk to. At the same time as Proline. Well, if I'm going to Axialfest, I'm not going back east. Maybe I could make to the gauntlet. We'll see.
It's super fun. So the way that night run works, they do have the trails, but then everybody comes back, and that's when we all did it on the course they have in the middle there, which is man-made rocks and all that, and it looks like a stinking carnival. He's got like Christmas light things going between all of it.
Cool.
All the cars lit up, but you just drop on anywhere. It's a big you know, shaped all over, and you just start crawling over bridges and stuff. It's really wicked.
That's awesome.
That's a quick way to get awesome looking footage too, but it's just people crawling everywhere like all at once.
Yeah.
But people are in the shot. You're not going to get around that, but it just looks like carnival.
That's cool.
Super fun. But yeah.
Right on, man.
Anyway, we'll wrap it so that we don't. Hopefully you're going to make it down there and do some awesome camping.
Shoot you in the baby maker with a BB gun.
Boom, you got it. I got out last week. I was quick. I was quick last week. I apologize for the abrupt ending to everybody else that we just kind of bailed, so I didn't get the baby maker.
I had to cite this one up for you, Tony, and I was like,
yep. So, but lots going on. Monster Jam, all that's coming up. Still, I'm figuring out how I'm going to run and what I'm going to run. Just taking extra stuff. And so cool seeing so many people that's the best part of going, seeing everybody that we hear in that keep up with us in the chat here and are part of these is super cool to be able to meet in person and hang out and make make jokes with Cody the whole time. So good seeing him again as well. So anyway, guys, we'll catch you next time. I've already been shot in the baby maker, so we might as well end this thing.
There you go.